Hey everyone, it's Dylan from the Black Forest Wood Company. This week we're going to be taking you guys around our shop and basically showing you every piece of machinery that we have in the whole shop. We're also going to do a tally of price. We're not trying to brag. What we're trying to do is make people aware of the kind of investment that's required to actually get into this kind of work. You know, it's one thing to build one of these on a small scale, but to actually be able to have the business set up to produce these on the scale that we do is a whole different story. It takes a lot of equipment, takes a lot of machinery, and many, many years of investment. Like, this is hard work put in by my dad to, you know, build up this foundation, be able to get these machines and actually produce this kind of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to showing this off to you guys. If you didn't know, little plug for ourselves, we also sell a lot of this machinery. So we've got our Festool here, we've got Laguna, we sell lathes, bandsaws, all different kinds of stuff. And if you guys want, you can call us, order from online, or you can come on down in store and we can help you guys out. But I do really hope you guys enjoy this video. If you want right now, leave your guesses below on what you think the total is for the cost of all our machinery. But with that, I hope you guys enjoy.
I'm Brad.
And I think they know who you are. And we are doing something a little different this week. We want to show you guys our shop and all of the tools that we have in it. And just kind of give you an idea of the kind of investment over the years that my dad has had to make to be able to have a shop that could do this.
I mean, it's had a really humble beginning for us. I mean, we're a 27-year-old business. We started in a 2,500 square foot shop. We had a very small retail space, and we've just taken it 1 year at a time.
What was the first piece of machinery that you guys bought?
Oh gosh, I think I contributed my old Delta table saw to the business back 27 years ago.
That one that we got rid of a little while ago?
Yeah, a few years ago. That was a pretty good saw, lasted years, but just kind of outlived its usefulness for us, yeah.
We probably had it for about 20 years or something.
I think we did, yes, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, we're basically what we're going to do, we're going to walk through the shop and we're going to kind of tally everything up as we go so you guys can get an idea. We're actually in the middle of doing inventory, so I don't think we really know what everything's worth right now, but it'll be kind of interesting to see and just give you guys an idea.
Yeah, this is probably one of our older pieces of equipment that we own here. This would be a 1960s vintage Dewalt radial arm saw, has a 5 horsepower motor, a 24-inch reach or cut length on it, and it is just, it's a vintage machine. I love it. It keeps running. We never have any problems with it. We probably paid $1,000 for this 20 years ago, and it was 20 years old at the time.
So, out of curiosity, what do you think this is worth today?
It's probably worth less than what I paid for it, but it's worth more to us than anybody else as a piece of equipment. Yeah.
This is a relatively new one. This is one of our newer machines in the whole shop.
It is too, right? And this is a SawStop industrial grade 7.5 horsepower table saw. It's their top of the line model, and it replaced, again, probably a 40-year-old old table saw that we had, another one. And it's just been one of the biggest benefits to our business.
And I think this one's about $14,000, if I'm not...
It was around $14,000, the regular price on it. We got a couple of extras on it as well too. But it's their top model saw, and I don't regret the investment at all whatsoever.
No. Yeah. No. We've had this one for a little while. Our little Powermatic.
Yeah.
I think we mostly just use this one for smaller bowl blanks, anything more intricate.
Yeah, it's our recycling saw that we use back here. We take a lot of our cutoffs and pieces here and we try and turn them into usable pieces of wood, more importantly for our customer base, as opposed to throwing wood away.
What's one of those worth?
Oh, that saw here today is probably worth about $1,500.
Do you remember what they're worth brand new?
Somewhere around there, $1,500 new, Dylan. Yeah,
okay.
$1,500 to $2,000 for the Powermatic bandsaw.
Okay.
So the foundation of a solid woodworking business is based on a couple of main pieces of equipment. We already looked at our big radial arm saw. We looked at a table saw, which is a fundamental piece of equipment. We also need what is called a face jointer and an edge jointer, and planers as well too. With those 4 pieces of equipment, you can straighten and true wood. Every piece of wood you buy, whether it's at Home Depot or a hardwood lumber store, rough lumber, is crooked. So you have to be able to straighten, square, and true all your lumber. Yeah. So table saw, jointer, planer, 3 main pieces of equipment, and of course your radial arm saw.
These are all pretty oversized examples of what your typical hobbyist would probably buy, right? Like this is a 16-inch jointer. Like I think probably our popular size we sell is like an 8-inch jointer, right?
Yeah, 6 to 8 inches would be the standard home hobbyist piece of equipment. Yeah. This is 16 inches wide. When we're making door styles, components, all these big table parts we're working on, we need the big width of this jointer here to be able to straighten and true that piece of material.
What's this thing worth?
This one here I think is about a $13,000 to $14,000 machine as well too.
Really?
Yes.
Well, okay, so that's an expensive jointer.
Oh, it sure is. Yeah, and it also has a spiral head on it. Has a helical head. You can see it's not a straight cut with the individual knives. The Powermatic came up with a really nice design with the shear cutting knives, and they're two-sided so you can rotate them when they're dull.
Now this is our old workhorse, this thing.
This is a beauty. Again, we're talking 25-year-old machine here. We have never even changed the bearings in this machine here. It's a straight knife planer, so it doesn't have the nice technology of the individual insert knives, but this is my go-to machine for accuracy and simplicity of working and precision.
What brand is this one?
This is an SCM Formula 1 Minimax machine, Italian made.
What'd you pay for it?
I actually don't remember, Dylan. It was so long ago. We bought it used, so it was part of an equipment package we bought from a shop that was closing down.
Put a number on it for the video, if you had to.
If I had to, I mean, you might be able to pick something like this up for $1,500 to $2,000. But the old Italian machines are actually better than the new imported machines. Yeah. And I'd rather have this machine than a new imported machine any day.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of our guys agree too. They like this thing.
Yeah, this is everybody's go-to machine. Dylan started getting a lot of furniture packages for us. It started requiring the construction of drawers and individual furniture components, etc. And the only way to properly make a drawer is with a dovetail machine. So that's what this specifically is. We invested in this just to build drawers. It cuts a repeating size, all the same size dovetail on our drawer boxes, and it does an excellent job for us.
What did we pay?
Again, the magic number is right around $12,000 what we paid for this.
Yeah.
Okay, this is our Supermax Sander that we have here. This is the 25-inch. It's a double drum sander. It's very finely calibrated. It's great for doing micro sanding where you need to work within 1/10 of a millimeter type thing. Awesome little sander.
What's one of these worth?
Well, now I think that one was right around $5,000, Dylan.
$5,000 for that thing?
Yeah, about $5,000 for this. Yeah.
Then we got our Laguna edge sander. This is new as well.
Just a basic edge sanding machine. We've always got to touch stuff up on an edge sander here and there once in a while. And I think this was right around $3,000 if I recall.
Now another thing I'll mention too, a couple of the brands that we've showed, like the Powermatic, the Laguna, the Supermax, we're dealers for all of that stuff. Probably our most popular right now is Laguna. Everyone really seems to be loving the Laguna, especially the bandsaws. But we try to actually sell what we use because we want you guys to know that we do stand behind these machines and we trust their quality.
So this machine here, this is one of the foundations of our business. It's our Biesi Rover A CNC machine. We purchased this machine in the fall of 2008. And it arrived just before the financial crisis and the collapse of the banking system in the United States hit. Yeah. We were fortunate because of its versatility. It actually helped get us through the depression created by that financial crisis.
It did, because like this machine can do the work of a few guys, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's like 15 machines in one, actually. Yeah.
What did you pay for that when it was brand new?
Well, I paid about as much as we did for our house when we bought our house way back in the day, and both of them had been excellent investments. The machine itself was about $175,000, and then our initial order for tools was about $80,000 for tools and cutters.
Wow.
And we probably invested another $30,000 or $40,000 in tools and cutters since then as well, too. I can't say enough about the reliability and the support that we get from BSE with the machine. Our dream is to have a 5-axis machine one day, the next step up from this here, and I wouldn't consider another machine for anything. Yeah, it is straight to BSE.
So now here is our other CNC. This one's a lot more light duty. It's an Avid CNC, and we almost strictly use this machine for slab flattening. We've got, what is this, an 8 horsepower spindle on this?
Yes.
Yeah, so we got the 8 horsepower electro spindle, so that thing has got a lot of power, and we can use it to flatten up these big slabs. Now, for comparison, this machine is basically twice as long, and it's 2 feet wider than what we can do on our BSE. But this is only about a $32,000 machine, where the BSE is approaching like 300 grand with all the tools and everything. But it doesn't have the same capabilities as a BSE. It's strictly a slab flattener. We could do some other stuff on it, but it's not going to be able to make the door components like our BSE could.
No, but we do some of the artistic things, like the engravings into door panels and things like that as well too. Yeah. Logos, we've done quite a few logos on here as well too, Dylan.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so many uses for it. Sometimes we wish we had a bigger one, but we don't have room for a bigger one right now. Here we've got our Italian Laguna Resaw Master. Is this about the nicest bandsaw you can buy from them?
I think it is, yeah. It's a 10 horsepower bandsaw, if you can believe that. It's a Resaw. We use this for cutting all of the stock for making our thins. We would also use this if we were doing a curved top for a custom curved top of a door jamb, because we'll do a bent lamination out of 3mm thick pieces. And we cut all of our thins on here. It's just a beautiful machine to run, yeah.
What's it worth?
I think this was around $12,000.
Yeah, for this machine?
Yeah.
So now here, we've got our big thickness sander, and this is probably the most or the second most important machine in our whole shop. What my dad always says is that sanding is 50% of woodworking.
And up until we bought our CNC machine, this is the most expensive machine that we have in our shop.
Yeah.
And again, this is approaching 20 years old now, and we're going to have a guy come in and tune it up for us tomorrow. And, you know, hopefully we can get another few years out of it.
Yeah, and it's got 3 drums, right? So we can do 3 grits in a single pass. So we'll go from 120, 150, all the way up to 180. Pretty expensive, like my dad said. This is what, about 170?
I think it was 125 at
120,
the time.
okay, so it's a little lower.
Yeah.
So 125. So about half the cost, roughly, of our BSE. Little less than half.
Something like that.
Yeah. And again, this is another thing that we have our eye on replacing, hopefully one day.
Oh, geez. There's new planer sanders that are out there that feed a tabletop through and then pull it back automatically, and it just saves incredible amounts of time and labor. So I mean, there's more tools out there to buy than we can afford, unfortunately, Dylan. I know. There's things that we could actually need. We could use one of these big new sanders, but this one's doing us for now.
Yeah. It's Viet, right? Who makes...
Yeah, they're called Viet through BSE. Yeah.
So now we got another Laguna bandsaw.
Yeah. It's our 18BX Laguna bandsaw, and this is more of our utility saw that we would use just for random cuts here and there.
Yeah. Now this is about middle of the road?
Yeah, this is a 3 horsepower saw, this one here. Yeah.
Okay. So what is one of these worth?
I think this is around about a $3,000 saw, Dylan.
About $3 grand for this?
Yeah.
And again, if you guys want to get Laguna, we've got salespeople here that can chat with you guys about it, and I'll show you in our other new bay later, but we keep lots of machinery on hand so that we can actually try and let you guys come pick them up instead of having to wait. Okay, so that basically covers it for a lot of our bigger stuff. So now we're just going to kind of go through and look at some of our smaller pieces of equipment, like our Festool, any kind of hand tools. I'm curious to see though what this number totals up to for all the machinery. So let's go look at the hand tools. Another brand that you're going to see all over our shop is Festool. We are a Festool dealer as well. Now, Festool is very expensive. Obviously, like there's a lot of cheaper alternatives that you can get similar equipment for a fraction of the cost. In our opinion, you know, if you're going to be using these tools every day, Festool is worth it. And if you want that quality, Festool is definitely worth it. Right here, we've got our Capex. I think it's about a $2,000 saw. I'd have to look up and double check, but This is the KS120, and then we've got one of their mini dust collection units underneath. These are very, very popular. This is about over $1,000 setup with the vacuum and the Merca. We have probably got 5 or 6 setups like this. The Mercas on their own are very great sanders, but then in combination with the dust extraction, it just makes a big difference for our shop. It's obviously still pretty dusty right now, but without that, there is dust everywhere when we don't have the dust collection hooked up. Coming along here, you know, we've got various just skill saws, hand drills. There's probably a few $100s of machinery on this wall here. We've also got, you know, all of our chisels. We don't have the biggest chisel collection. Pliers, you know, just all kind of miscellaneous stuff here. I'm not really going to put a big value on any of this for the sake of totaling the video. We'll just maybe say we got, again, another $200-300 worth of stuff here. It's probably worth a lot more than that, but it's depreciated, so we'll call it that. And we've got our track saw with another vacuum setup. This one's got the HEPA extraction, so again, about a $2,000 saw, and I don't quite remember the exact price on these, but I think they're over $1,000 for those. So then we've got our classroom. Well, used to be our classroom. We've kind of temporarily put that on hold because of COVID and how busy we are. We primarily teach turning in here, as you guys can kind of see by all the lathes spread out. So the main lathe that our students get to use is a one-way 1018. These are about $1,500 US, so just under $2,000 Canadian, we'll say. We got 6 of those, and we've got a couple other ones. There's a Vic mark here. We've got a nice big Laguna Revo 1836. I would have to double check the price on that one. We've got another Vic mark over there. That's what Terry uses to teach. But unfortunately right now it's kind of set up as our finishing areas because we're just so busy. So we've got all the lathes kind of pushed out to the outside and we're just focusing on getting stuff finished up right now. So here we are right now, just to close out the video, in front of all that machinery that we sell that I told you guys about. So it is a little bit of a mess. We do need to work on our organization, but you'll see a lot of Laguna. There's some Supermax. There's some Festool up at the top as well. So we try to do a pretty good job keeping our inventory high. Sorry, Charlie, I just smacked you. Keeping our inventory high so that when people come in, they don't have to wait and order something. They can just walk away with it. But after we totaled everything up, you guys are probably already seeing it on the screen, but it was $546,318 that we have in total for our machinery. And that's, again, that's not an exact number. I was low and quite conservative on some things. Like when I went to the chisel drawer, I said there's a few $100s, where in reality it's like $25 to $50 a chisel for some of the nicer ones. So definitely low on some things, but it kind of gives you an idea of what it takes for us to be able to run our shop and be able to put out the volume you do. And it's by no means something that was easily attainable, and not even something I did really. This was all my dad. This is 28 years of his hard work, you know, just putting effort into the business. And instead of taking extra money, his philosophy has always been to reinvest it in the business and just grow. So that's what we've done with our machinery. So I hope you guys enjoyed this style of video. It's a little different, and hopefully it gives you some insight too on what the actual cost of all these machines that we're using are. And then we'll go to Charlie for some final words here. Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe, and we'll see you next week.